Hello, brokers, coaches, and consultants. I'm in Jacksonville Beach, Florida. And today we have a very special video for you all because we have development agent John Tesh and Corinne Tesh who are here to show us their latest project. This particular house is located in the same neighborhood where John and Corinne live. It was owned by a gentleman who was in a challenging situation. As you can see, there are extensive amounts of repairs needed. One of the biggest problems is having this giant hole in the ceiling. As Corinne is trying to explain her vision for the kitchen, I realized the audio was corrupted, so I'm trying to remember as much as possible from the visit. They are starting the repairs on the roof tomorrow, and a project like this with Corinne and John's experience takes about 2 months to completion. Coincidentally, they found out about this particular property through the president of the HOA in their community, where a fellow neighbor needed a helping hand and were able to assist them in the process through their challenge. They were able to provide them with a fair cash offer on their property. And this is what the day in the life for a HomeVestors franchisee looks like. Figuring out whether or not you're able to help somebody out of a tough spot to later be able to project manage on that same property to completion. And there you have it, guys. This is part 1 of a series of shorter videos. I am planning on continuing to share the progress of this particular property as it unfolds. And with that, I hope you found some value in this week's Nugget video. I hope to see you all next week.
Hey, welcome friends, elite entrepreneurs and empire builders. Jared here, your CEO of Fran Opps. And man, I am genuinely so excited about today's conversation for many reasons. One, I've been mentioning this every week. Thanksgiving, right around the corner, is next week. We are 1 week away from one of the greatest holidays of all time, where you get to spend some time with family and friends and loved ones. Truly, I hope you get some time together with them. And if you're watching this at a later date, sorry, Thanksgiving's probably not coming up for you. But if it is, man, I'm excited for you guys. Next week, we won't be doing a Fran Opps Live here inside the group. We're going to take a week off. We're going to take a break. I'm going to spend some time with my family, with my 3 little kids, with my parents, with my siblings and their kids. It's going to be a great time around the table, eating food and playing board games and just watching some football and having some fun. It's gonna be good. But today we are here to talk with man. My guest today is I'm really excited about this one. We're going to talk to the brand we're talking about is HomeVestors. And I know for a lot of people they approach me and they're like, man, so I'm thinking about buying a franchise, but I'm not really sure which one to get into. And so we started talking about stuff, and they're like, well, I'm thinking also about maybe real estate. And I can't decide, should I invest into a business or should I invest into real estate? I'm also thinking maybe crypto or stocks, or they're trying to find a number of different things. And I go, well, what if we looked at an option that might include a couple of those things all at the same time? What if you did both real estate and run your own business all at the same time? And that's what HomeVestors offers in kind of a unique way. And we'll unpack that a little bit too. But how we kind of got HomeVestors and our guest today on this live stream was interesting. So we've been doing these live streams for a while, and I have a number of brands reach out to me and kind of go, hey, I want to be a part of that live stream. How do we do that? And so I'll have that conversation to see if they're a good fit for this. And I was talking to one of the franchise development directors over at HomeVestors. Her name is Leslie. Shout out to Leslie if you're on. And give me a high five in the chat if you're in. But welcome. Anyway, so I was talking to Leslie, and I said, Leslie, listen, I want to when we do these, I look for certain kinds of guests. And so if we're gonna do this, I need one of your top performers. I need one of the best franchisees that you potentially have. I need one of those people that will hop on here and people are gonna listen to this story and go, oh my goodness, that's incredible. I want that. I want to experience that. I want to achieve that. I want to know what that's like. And so if that person has done it, then And so I told Liz, I said, I want to have one of your top performers. And she said, oh, I got the guy. And so today it is my pleasure to bring on David Offutt, who is one of the highest performing franchisees in HomeVestors, which is such a massive brand. It's the We Buy Ugly Houses brand, and I'm sure you've seen their marketing and branding and logos all over because they do such an incredible job. And this is one of their top performers. So man, I am so excited for today. The video I showed up front kind of gives you a sneak peek, not of David, but of some other franchisees. Kind of gives you a sneak peek of the before process of what a HomeVestors franchisee does. hang on till the very end of our conversation today, and I'm going to show you the another video, kind of the follow-up, the after of that same house. So you saw the before. Hang on to the end. I'm going to show you the after and what they're doing now, or what that property has turned into. But man, without further ado, this is David.
How did you get involved with HomeVestors?
Well, of course, I'm in the great state of Massachusetts. I wouldn't pick another state. It's the best one in the country. And I was in the real estate space for about 26 years. And about 23 of those years was traditional real estate. And then I heard about this HomeVestors through Aaron Katz, my current DA. And I said, Aaron, I want to know more. I want to buy one. And he said, we're closed, so you can't. After about a year and a half, he called me and says, there's an opportunity. And immediately I jumped right in.
David, welcome to the greatest Facebook group in the metaverse, my man. I'm so glad you're joining us today. I really am.
Jared, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to sharing some of my story. I smile when I think about that clip because it was difficult to get in as a franchisee with HomeVestors because our market was sold out. It was closed. And what that means for those listening is in some markets, if they're fully exhausted all of their advertising, they're on television, billboards, bat buses, internet, all of that, then they don't sell more franchises. So you're not overwhelmed with too many franchisees. So I was excited to get the call from Aaron to participate.
Yeah, incredible. So let's keep diving in then, since we're kind of already picking up your story a little bit. Tell us a little bit about, before we get into more of your story with HomeVestors first, tell us a bit about yourself. Tell us a bit about the man, David Offutt.
Well, you know, years and years ago, my wife and I opened an office supply company. And that was the space that I was in. And I thought I would be there forever.
Like chairs.
Oh, yeah.
Printers.
Chairs, staples, paper clips, the whole thing. It was the largest minority-owned office supply company in Massachusetts. I ended up selling out to Staples, long and the short of it, in moving out of that space. It was just so competitive, and into the real estate space. But I'm married to my high school sweetheart. We've been together for 42 years. We've raised 4 sons, all of them doing extremely well in their careers, which is great. Some amazing daughter-in-laws, and we've just had an amazing journey, her and I. And we sit back now, quite a bit of traveling, and just kind of smile. We smile at some of the challenges that they're enduring. We enjoy spoiling our grandkids.
Oh, yeah.
We're also coaching them through some of life's challenges because you're going to have obstacles at all times. So we're in, hands down, the best space in our lives and our careers so far. So we've had
so good to hear.
Yeah,
that's so good to hear. I'm sure a big testament to HomeVestors, not all of it, but a big testament to HomeVestors and who you are too as an individual. And there's probably a good match or a good fit there. But why did you? I want to hear more. Why did you decide to get into franchising? Like we saw that short clip just a second ago, but ultimately, what was the decision that led you to go, this is what I'm going to do?
Well, let me just bring it back just a little bit. I've owned several different franchises. I've owned, some may have heard of Exit Realty. Franchise. I've owned 2 Exit Realty franchises in Massachusetts in different parts of the state. And that's when I started my real estate career. So my wife and I, we built the team up to about 40 or so agents. We were doing extremely well. Working with REO properties, real estate owned by the bank with Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, the whole thing, Bank of America. We were really working hard in that space. And get what I said, working hard. And we were not seeing the financial reward that we would have liked to give us some peace in long-term hitting our financial goals. So as the market transitioned a bit and the real estate market changed and dropped and we went into a bit of a recession, I didn't renew those franchises and we went independent and downsized. I have a coach that said to me, he says, David, go small and keep it all. That's what he said to me.
So I like that.
And it was really good. We went independent and he kind of helped me get through a difficult time in the real estate space. But as the market started to come back, I did some research and I heard about Century 21. So I went and I visited with Century 21 and I bought a Century 21 franchise. Now, what that's saying to those that may be considering franchises is I had 2 franchises, went independent, and then bought a Century 21 franchise. The reason for that is the business in a box concept means a lot to me. I'm a
Tell me more about that.
So my back room has to be tight. And that's what the franchises brought me, was a tight back room in synergy with other like-minded franchisees across the country. But when Aaron called and said there's an opportunity for HomeVestors, I sold my Century 21 franchise to the largest Century 21 here in Massachusetts, Jim D'Amico, great friend of mine, amazing guy. My wife still hangs a license with them now.
Cool.
And I went full-time into HomeVestors, and I'll tell you what, I have never experienced the freedom, the headspace, the financial independence that I do now because of the business that I'm in now. Now, it's important that you know your lane and your abilities in the space that you want to be in when you choose the franchise. And I knew that with HomeVestors. I knew right out the gate, that's what right out the gate, I knew that's what I wanted. And here I am 7 years later, and I'll tell you what, I'll be doing this for the remainder of my career because I want to, not because
I love that. Yeah, that's so good. And that's spot on with something we say almost every week on this call. On these live streams, we say it almost every week that more important than the franchise name is the franchise fit. Now, the franchise name is important, right? The marketing, the branding, all of that, that's important. But more important to, I believe, an individual's future success comes down to the fit, is who they are. Does that fit with the culture and the goal of this franchise? And vice versa, is this franchise a good fit for this individual? Because every franchise system has entrepreneurs who are successful and those who aren't.
That's right.
And the thing that's the same is the franchise. So the difference is the entrepreneur. So it's got to come down to the fit. So if you could think back to then for us, like, was Exit the first franchise you invested into? And what I want to hear is like that very first time you made that call. Because we have some in this Facebook group that they haven't made that first franchise investment yet. They're still thinking about it. They haven't done their first one. So there's some fear there. There's some angst there. Can you relate to that? Was there, when you went back, or are you kind of just like, no, pull the trigger, the risk isn't a thing, let's go for it, or what was that first experience like for you investing in the franchise?
I've got to tell you, I know there was never an inhibition about buying the franchise because I solely rely on, as you said so eloquently, not the name above my door, but I rely on my ability to get up every day and make sure that I'm doing the things I should be doing to propel the business. So as long as you have a commitment to yourself and your success, then find the franchise that fits where your passion. Real estate has always been a passion of mine. And I know that the best and the fastest track to wealth building is real estate. So I figured, I'm living it now. Why not go ahead and get involved with real estate and study it, be the best that you can be in that space, and realize that, and this is really important no matter what franchise you buy, what business you're in, it's never the product. It's always the person and the situation. And if you keep that front of mind, you're successful already. It's just a matter of, when you're going to get there.
Yeah, because the franchise is going to give you, friends listening right now, every franchise, if they're worth their salt, which the ones that we work with, they are.
Yeah.
And if they are, we get rid of them in our portfolio, right? But those that are worth their salt, like, they're going to help you. They're going to provide support to you. They're going to provide marketing to you. They're going to provide operations support. They're going to provide all these things. Yeah. What they can't do is get you out of bed.
That's right. Yeah.
That comes down to you. That comes down to grit. It comes down to, David, I was talking to you before we even hopped on this, and you were talking about how important resilience is to you. Yeah. And how you just so relate to that concept of you have to have resiliency. You have to be a resilient individual in all kinds of business, including franchising.
Yes. Yeah. I think there's one of the things that one of my coaches said to me some time ago is he says, we've all got the same amount of time. Do 3 things with it. We can spend it, we can waste it, or we can invest it. So every day I start off at 0. When I come in my office, I'm at 0. There's times I may have 6 projects going at once. I may have 4 projects going, whatever the story is. But when I come to the door, I'm at 0. Every day I'm looking for new opportunity. And what I mean by opportunity is somebody new that I can help. Because in this space, every client that I work with is in a distressed situation for one reason, whether it's health, whether it's physical, whether it's financial, whatever it is. So my goal is to go in, dig deep, listen to their story, and see if it's a good fit. And if I'm able to help them. If I'm not, then I can direct them in another source, another area, which works out pretty well.
Yeah. Good. Okay. So that's let's talk a little bit more about HomeVestors then. So that's what it does, right? So that's what the business itself, that's what the model is about. You go help individuals in tough situations and see if you might be able to offer them a agreed upon quality cash offer kind of deal to help them get out from underneath this property. Am I getting that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
okay, good.
I'd love to, if I could, give you an example of a HomeVestors story.
Please do.
I had a client call me up. This is a HomeVestors client. She called me up and she says, I need to sell my house. And she sounded real aggravated and frustrated and the whole thing. So I set up an appointment right away. Of course, I answer the phone anytime it rings. I'm answering the phone. You don't want to lose a call. So I go out and meet with her. And this is a house in Plymouth, Massachusetts. We're sitting in her house. It's just a little small house. These are homes that they were using as cottages years ago. Now it's a full-fledged, full-season home, 4-season home. Anyway, I go into the house. I meet with her. She's just a sweet little older woman, and she's sitting in her high chair. And when I walk in the door, I'm hit with nothing but cigarette smoke. I mean, and I'm not a smoker. No offense to those, but this cigarette smoke just hit me in the face like a ton of bricks. I get into the house. I don't flinch at all because you don't want to flinch about this, and I don't want to judge or any of that kind of stuff. So I get in the house, and I sit in the chair across from her. And she's leaning into me, and she says, I want to sell. Can you tell me how much you'll pay for this house? So I had to slow down. I had to get a little bit of her story. I got her story, and I says, let me just take a walk around. I take a walk around her house. Cobwebs everywhere. I open the basement door. I had to get a broom to sweep the cobwebs out. So that's how the smoke all through the walls. Finally, I come to her, and I leaned into her, and I says, tell me, best case scenario, what you're hoping to get for your home. And she gave me a number. I think $150,000, something like that. It wasn't a number, but 150. And I said to her, oh, goodness, there's no way I can do anything like that. Look around a little bit more. And then I said to her again, realistically, what are you? She was just shooting for the start. She said, what can I said, what would you take for you? She said, 100,000. And I looked her eyeball to eyeball. I says, that's not good either. That's not fair to you, and it's not fair to me. This is where honesty and ethics come in. I said, 120 is a realistic number. So I'm going to give you 120. If that makes sense, we can move forward. And that was a fair number. So our goal is to go in and steal a house. Our goal is to go in and really help them transition best from one place to the next, which is good. And I think that's the mindset of every franchisee in the city. We can buy it, but it's better to do the right thing.
Does HomeVestors help you? Do they do the training? Do they help you make those offers and know how to write it? Are you complete authority over those? Like, what role does HomeVestors play in that?
We have complete authority over what we offer, but what they provide, and this is one of the blessings about this franchise and hopefully every other, is the training back room. We call it a development agent. I have a development agent here in Massachusetts, Aaron Katz, who has been, I mentioned him in that clip video, has been an amazing resource to me. But when I look outside of that, all across the country, I pick up the phone and I talk to people. It's to the place now where every month I do a training for corporate, and I get to meet franchisees across the country that we interact on a regular basis, which works out pretty well. But we have a training that's based from Sandler training. It's a national outfit, but they have a training specific to HomeVestor franchisees that you take, and it teaches you from front to back how to manage and negotiate offers and the whole thing, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome. Talk more about the support then. Let's talk more about the HomeVestor side. Tell me more about the support, and you've already mentioned some of that training stuff. What else does support look like to become when you become a HomeVestors franchisee?
That's a huge piece of it. The benefit of being a HomeVestor franchisee compared to being just an independent is, one, I get 100% financing on any of my deals, the purchase and the rehab, which works out pretty well. The other part is our partnerships with national folks like Home Depot, Lowe's, Floor Decor, the whole thing.
They're already in place.
Oh, yeah, it's already in place. So when I purchase a property, it's gold right from the beginning. Everything from having the folks come in to measure the floors to the windows being measured, it simplifies it. That's what I mean by business box. Bought the franchise, one, to have access to the leads, which is good, but also have that back room. So it helps me analyze what's a good offer on a property. Before I go to a property, I know what I can offer. I got it all broken down. Is there lead involved? Is there Title V involved? Title V, for those that are not in this area, is a septic tank. Some of us have them in Massachusetts. But anyway, it teaches you A through Z on how to buy, how to place the offer, and when you do buy and close, steps A through Z on getting this thing rehabbed and back on the market. And the secret is in a reasonable period of time. You don't want
That's what I was just going to ask.
Yeah. And then transition. Because many folks don't. I had a lunch meeting today with somebody that sits on a board with me on a nonprofit here, and her sister has a home. And the concern is, when I buy the home, where is she going to go? And the plus with HomeVestors is I've been able to build a portfolio of rentals where I can take somebody from here, as long as they're a good tenant, or a good potential tenant, I should say, because at this point they're homeowner, and put them somewhere else. And it allows us to develop partnerships with other profits that have housing for folks, whether it's senior or disabled, or whatever the story is. So the back room is just extensive, and it's not just a one-time thing. We meet on a monthly basis, and we talk about our marketing dollars. We talk about the best do's and don'ts in the business. We talk about competition.
Oh, that's great.
And we mastermind every single month on a regular basis about this. And then there's a monthly call as well, a leaders call that everybody's invited to, that talks about the business on a national level, which is good to know. So the support is just tremendous, without a doubt.
Man, but to be a franchisee, it feels like you have to wear many hats. It sounds like it's not just like you're not just a realtor, but also sounds like you're a little bit of you got to be a project manager. Know how to manage all those things. You're a landlord trying to place people in different places, and then you also kind of got to be a little bit of almost a counselor. It sounds like with some people to hear stories and to dive into their life in almost an intimate way, really.
Yeah, I'd have to say the biggest piece of it is the counseling piece, to know when to buy and when, of course, to direct them in another way, through another source, and sometimes to just suggest they keep their home. So I think the counseling piece is the biggest piece of it, to have a listening ear to what's going on. I'm sure your audience knows, but 55% of all communication is body language. So when I'm sitting and talking to somebody, I can recognize where they're at. And then, of course, 38% is tonality and 7% is the words. So what we say really is a small piece of what happens in communication with somebody when we're sitting across from them or with them in a conversation, or potentially buy their property. But learning all of this from HomeVestors and learning the property management piece of it, you put things in place. For instance, when I purchase a property, prior to purchase and prior to close date, my contractor's already done a walkthrough. So I've got a couple groups of contractors. I call them the tentacles of the business. So a couple different folks that I do financing with, a local lender, use my own cash sometime, and then I use the HomeVestor lender as well. So anyway, I got the things in place where prior to closing, we've already measured the windows if it needs it. We've measured the floors if it needs it. We're pretty a week ahead of it. So close date, I just pulled the trigger, and the contractor's on spot, cleaning out the property and moving forward. And all I've got to do is drive by once a week and do a walkthrough and make sure he's hitting his bullets, because they give you a cheat sheet of what to do, how to do, room by room. And they give a sheet for what the cost of material is going to be. And of course, contractors as well. We've got electricians, we've got plumbers, and that's in every state in the country. We share this information amongst this group. Many will think that if there's 10 franchisees in a state that you're competing, but you're not. You're working together to provide a service that's extremely needed within communities.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I love hearing you, and I've heard Leslie and just some videos I'm seeing. It looks like it really is a family of franchisees there at HomeVestors, which is not always the case. And so That's cool to hear. Tell me more about kind of your personal business and how it's set up. You know, you have your I-9 employees, I guess, they're contract workers and the tentacles of it, as you said. What about outside of that? Is it just you and your wife? Do you have other employees? Like, tell me about, you know, your territories now, and just tell me a little more about your business.
Yeah, I'll tell you, my wife and I have been partners forever, and she's just an amazing partner. Keeps me right in line.
42 years, you said.
Yes, yeah. For those
Impressive.
that know,
Congratulations.
she's an SI personality, so she's a hand coddler, and I'm a DI personality, so aggressive, just go get it, and you know, kind of thing. So
you're referring to the DISC assessment for those of you who are not familiar with these letters that David's throwing out. But I'm with you. Go for it.
So it's myself, it's my wife, and I've got a couple full-time guys that manage and keep up my properties, you know, which works out pretty well. Now, outside of that, I've got a coordinator, an accountant, a bookkeeper, and of course, my bankers on my team, my attorneys on my team. So that's the inner circle. Now, outside of that, I've got groups of contractors, and that's really all that's needed. I go on every buy call myself, and my wife handles the back room. My coordinator helps out as well. So it's perfect that way. Now, with that kind of a setup, I'm capable of buying up to 30 homes a year. Now, there's guys that do more than that, but I can't say they're more profitable. So there's guys locally that may be buying 50 homes a year, but they're not set up like I am. They're set up with, say, 12 people on payroll, and they're managing that business. I chose.
I see. So the margins are not as big.
Right. I chose this space because it fits well for me. And my wife and I decided that we're going to take 3 months off a year so that we can travel. Not all the same, but different times of the year. You know, we love Aruba. We're in Texas for 2-3 weeks out of the year. So we like to travel places. We take our kids and our grandkids on a cruise every year. So all those kinds of things are important to us. And the business allows that to happen. The other piece I'll say about HomeVestors is they tell you how to structure it. See, you structure it? Are you incorporated? Are you LLC? Are you an S corp? How do you hold your properties? Do you hold them in a trust? You hold them in an LLC. How do you protect yourself? And what kind of insurance? We write our own insurance, so that's a plus. When I'm closing, I just go online and I print out my binder, which works pretty well. So it streamlines it for me. So I know every single day there's no chaos. You know, we can feed chaos or we can feed clarity. And HomeVestor allows me to feed clarity in my daily walk.
Wow, that's so good, David. What's next for you? What's next? You know, everything sounds. It sounds like you mentioned you're going to do this as long as you possibly can. What do you have? Kind of longer term plans for the future?
I would say a couple of things to that. One is this is my retired life. I love it. I love people. My wife and I made a commitment that we split our time up into thirds. A third of it is the business, a third is family, and a third is volunteer. So I spend quite a bit of time volunteering. I'm a trustee at the hospital here, and I'm a trustee at the second largest Old Colony YMCA here in the state. And we give back quite a bit of our time. So I'll continue to do that and make sure that I continue to travel and love on my grandkids. I got 8 of them. So I tell you, realistically, my day starts at 4:30 in the morning, and it's usually over by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And it's 4 days a week. So I don't think in the income that you make in this business is one that you want to continue to just utilize it to help and strengthen the nonprofits in your area and help your family as well. Financial.
For sure. Yeah. That's so good. Wrap it up for us then a little bit, David. If you could go back and do it over again, what would you? Is there anything you would do differently from the early stages on franchising?
I think that in the earlier stages, I was economically dependent on 1 or 2 lead sources. I would diversify more. You know, I think it's important to diversify your business growth tactics. So I would have done that sooner, and it would have got me to where I needed to be faster. But I learned a lot from it. So I would say if I could have bought a HomeVestor franchise sooner, that would have been to the trade for me.
Yeah.
A lot of heartache and heavy lifting in traditional real estate with Century 21 and with the exit franchise. That was just not a fit for me. Too many moving pieces. And yeah, I wish I could have
Gotcha.
watched. Yeah.
My last question I had was, like, if we can get it in on this call, is for those that are in that pre-franchise stage, entrepreneurs right now that are curious and are on the fence, where you once were. What advice or encouragement could you offer them?
I would say put a simple plan in place and implement. If you find something that you're passionate about, do it. I mean, just jump right in, both feet, and make sure that you immediately find somebody that's in that same space that can give you some direction and some guidance. Not hold your hand every day, but some coaching, maybe once a month for 30 minutes to get you on track. And most franchises provide that. And follow the roadmap. Follow the roadmap. That's important. Each franchise has a map for you to follow. If you follow it, you're gonna be successful. But make sure you have a passion in whatever it is that you choose to get involved with. I certainly wish everybody the best of success, and feel free, if you want to Google me, to send me a note or a text or an email or something. I'll be happy to help you navigate through making a difficult decision of, do I buy or do I not buy? Is this franchise a right fit for me, or is it not a right fit for me? I'll be happy to help. So certainly feel free to reach out. You can find me on Facebook, or just Google and you'll find my information. All right. Wish you guys all the best.
If you want to start a conversation, let's do that. Type 2024 in the chat. But I promised at the beginning, I wanted to show this video to you guys, this after video of the video I showed at the front, where you had the franchisees looking at a home, and here's kind of the post or the after.